So hi you guys. Tonight, not Karen. Tonight, Harriet and Jennifer are gonna be leaving us and just kind of going over like the importance of staying close to the fire. So I'm just gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up and you guys go ahead and take it away.
All right, let's do this. While you're saying you thought about it all day, I woke up this morning like, oh, I need some notes. And you already know that morning brain dump right here. Okay, so why stay close to the fire? I feel like as a team, we all feed off each other and we kind of almost go through the same seasons almost at the same time with like maybe overwhelm or burnout or just like feeling like we need to do something different or pivoting because and I like that because it means that we're on the same page as a team mostly, right? Like we want to grow. We know where we need to change. We know that we want where we want to get to as a team. So I love that. So why staying close to the fire is important? First of all, it's a reminder that you're not alone. Okay. It's a reminder when you hop on a Zoom to know that we're going through the similar things, to know that we're in the same mindset, to know that something that you may be going through, if you wouldn't get on a Zoom on a Monday, maybe because you let life get you down or whatever maybe, and you're just like in a funk and you let the funk get to you and you're like, I'm not gonna hop on today. I'm just gonna binge watch some TV. And then you miss out on that mindset. You miss out on realizing like, oh my gosh, she's going through it too, right? So it's important to stay close and keep that fire lit. I mean, because if you stay away, you're gonna get cold, right? Jennifer always says that. Like you have to stay hot. And it's a reminder of why you started in the first place as well. Because a lot of times when you hear someone else's story, when you hear someone else's something that they've gone through or how we're all failing forward, you hear someone else's story and how they're pivoting through it or tips and tricks that they're doing to get out of either a mindset or how they're working their business, something that you can, like we always say, take what you need, leave what you don't. And it's important to keep that fire going because it's going to be a constant reminder of why you started in the first place. Because even though we're all on up the same mountain, we all started for different reasons, but at the same time, there's similarities in all of our stories as to why we're here. So it just reminds you of your why when you hop on and um and just keep it lit, y'all. Keep it going because life is gonna happen and we're gonna have those doubts and we're gonna have those fears and we're gonna get to a moment where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like how long is it gonna take? It's not happening as fast as I thought. It's like, should I really keep doing this? Like and it happens to all of us. So staying here, staying close and having these conversations, it's important. Okay. And like I said, you get to learn more, you get tips, you get an awareness of where maybe you need to pivot and where you need to start changing. And also is that empowerment that we give each other, right? When you're like down and instead of staying away or retracting, right? It shows your growth when you have the mindset to say like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on anyway. I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna get empowered. And you realize how much of a North Star the team is. No matter where you're at in your journey, you realize that we're here to empower each other and encourage each other and to keep each other going, right? And life happens. So it's so easy to feel defeated. It's easy to maybe even blame your business for your overwhelm. But staying close helps you to see, I'm trying to keep to my notes, trying to see that the community is what actually keeps you going instead of like letting all the other noise and all the overwhelm and you end up blaming the actual business, but it's just life is overwhelming and maybe you need to just, you know, take a breather in certain areas, but it depends how you do it, right? And you have to realize that it's not actually the team. Like actually the team is what's going to keep you going through the downfalls and things that you're going through in your business for you to be able to push through. So like the more you retract and stay away, the harder it is to come back. So it's so easy. And I've gotten there. Like through the first year of working this business, I felt overwhelmed. And I'm like, it's so easy to try to get to that point where you just don't want to hear about it anymore. But it's like, no, press on and press in because staying close helps you to see that actually this here is what's keeping you going. It's that reminder that's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to quit because they're not quitting, right? But if you're not seeing us, you feel alone. You feel like, okay, well, You know, it's so easy to get to that. So it's a light, right? When everything isn't going right outside of the business, this here, what we have here, it's a light to keep you going. Okay. Also, it helps you keep your heart posture. And I've been saying this a lot, and it keeps your heart right about your business. To realize that I said not the solution to your current circumstances, right? To not put the pressure on your business, because it's easy to let your outside circumstances, like I could easily sit here and say, well, you know what? I'm not going to keep working my business because I'm still paycheck to paycheck. I'm still struggling to pay my rent. I've gotten disconnection notices, all these things. And my business isn't making me money. And it's so easy to let that overshadow the fact that, you know what? My business puts gas in my car. You know what? My business has paid for my car insurance, my car that allows me to go to work, right? And some weeks, even when I have zero paychecks, I keep going because showing up and keeping the fire lit reminds me of what's possible, reminds me of my vision and my dream, reminds me that I'm not here for that instant gratification. I'm not here for the immediate, like what this business or what I think it could do. And it helps to not put that pressure. It's so beautiful to not put that pressure because it keeps your heart posture in the right place. Okay, you don't want to come off like you don't like you're just looking at a dollar sign, you're just looking at a promoter pack. You want to be able to actually care for that person. And I've been so like aware of my thoughts and my heart posture when it comes to talking to other moms. Like over a week ago, I made a TikTok on I made a TikTok on TikTok. I made a video on TikTok, and it was just telling mamas like, hey, I want to help as many mamas as I can this fall. Who needs that money for Pampers, right? Who wants to pay down some debt? But at the same time, even though I came off that way, you know that it's taken me like over a week to like slowly talk to these women, actually hear them out, get to know them, ask how many kids they have, right? And out of like over 10 of them, only 2 have actually given me my number, and I've got them out of TikTok and I'm texting them. One of them, like, oh my gosh, like she's going through it to the point where she said I almost made her cry because no one has ever done anything for her. Like, give her a free sample, y'all. I was like, if we're gonna partner together, I'm gonna send this to you. And you know, she insisted on paying it. And I'm like, girl, like, it's done. I already shipped it out. She's like, please, like, I just want to be able. I said, okay, if you really want to pay for it, it's cool. This is my Cash App. It's $25. And then she took a while and she came back and she said, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is so embarrassing. She's like, my phone bill came out and I don't have it all on my card. She's like, can we just hold it off until I can pay for it? I said, girl, I promise you it's okay. I was like, I want you to try these products and we're going to work together. It's coming to your doorstep. If you really feel strongly about paying for it, you can whenever you can, or just send me what you can. It's okay. And that goes so far, right? It also tells me about her heart to know that she cares enough to like, she told me, I was like, I asked her why at some point, like, why does she feel so strongly? She's like, because I want you to get paid for your products, you know? And it's like, it just says something about her as well. So we're creating a connection. We're getting to know each other. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. And for me, to be honest, I've been trying to create connections, but now that I've been more aware of my heart posture and not putting that pressure on my business, oh my gosh. Like, I'm like, I want to care for them. I really want to care. I don't want to care about the paycheck. And I feel like that's really what's going to build that solid foundation that we always talk about. But it takes us being aware, being really aware of how we're coming off. Because it's so easy to worry about that paycheck. It's so easy to say, man, give me that $25, right? It's so easy to say that. But it's like, you know what? No. So I've been really careful with that. And I feel like, as we always say, like, I don't mind to grow slow and steady, if that makes sense. And when you think about slow and steady, it may make you feel like, well, it's not steady. I haven't gotten a paycheck in like 2 weeks. Like, no, I mean slow and steady as far as those connections and building that solid team. Because in the end, after it's going to be real steady when you look at what your team is doing, how everyone is winning, how we're all getting that residual income. It's about the long run, and that's what we're here for. Okay. I wrote on here, the business is what makes you have hope. You know what it can do for you if you don't stop. The only way to fail is if you quit, right? Um, Also, when it comes to not quitting and not stopping, I want to touch on like finding your own rhythm and when you feel like you need to step back. I want to say at the beginning of this month, I fasted social media for 4 days. And I want to touch on it because I want y'all to kind of like know what my mindset was behind it. It was very spiritual to me. My church went through a week of prayer and worship, and God said, get off social media, right? But I fasted social media. I didn't fast my business. Okay. But while I was praying and I fasted social media, I was praying on my heart posture. I was praying on God bringing my team. I was praying for for a kind of like a clarity on my content and where I want it to go. And he answered, like, it's crazy how he answered, because when you quiet all the other noise, it's so powerful, right? Like, I literally have written down the type of content I want to do on TikTok, the type of content I'm going to do on Facebook and Instagram, and how I want to show up, right? You want to follow your own way of also like resting and refreshing. And even though I was already unplugging completely on Sundays, those 4 days were so empowering. But guess what? I still showed up to Zooms that week. I still went into, it was hard. I still went into our Facebook groups like once a day. I still went into my messenger once a day. What I fasted from was scrolling. What I fasted from was looking at other people's content, right? What I fasted from is getting away from any comparison, right? So when we say stepping back, it's kind of like taking a step back and looking at things from the outside in, but not completely just saying like, I'm going to put it all down. Because when you step away completely, you're getting away from the fire. If you don't hop on Zooms, if you're just saying I'm going to be gone for a week, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, I'm not gonna look at anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to help. And everyone is different. But think about this: if you leave for a certain amount of time, first of all, it's harder to come back. But then who's to guarantee that if you just leave, you don't want to think about anything, you don't even want to think about what you need to change, you're not aware of where you need to pivot, you're going to come back and start doing the same thing. You're still going to get back to the same overwhelm. You're still going to get back to all the things, or feeling like you're doing all the things, but you didn't get any structure in. So it's okay to take a step back, or maybe if you need a day or two, but don't completely just say you're going to completely just hop off. And Amber just said this too in a video. Like, so many people on social media, like, okay, well, I'm gonna be gone, I'm gonna just delete my apps or whatever. Like, for what? When you come back, you're gonna go back to the same habits. It's about being aware where you need to pivot and where you need to change, and what boundaries you need to give yourself in order to come back stronger, in order to come back more like organized in your mind about what you want to be known for, what do you want to put out there, and what value you have to offer, right? That's where finding your own lane comes in. Why, right? And going into that, that's where your power place is at. When you actually take the time and become aware, right? Call yourself out for your own crap and say, okay, where do I need to change? What am I trying to avoid? What am I not being real with myself with? And realize that sometimes it is us, right? It is you, that you need to think about your mindset behind what you're doing, how you're showing up, right? Are you mimicking a little bit too much, or are you doing too much that's not sustaining you? You have to figure out what works for you. But in the end, we are here for sales, we are here working a business, and we are here for mentorship, and that's where the heart posture comes in with your team. But in the end, we're business women, and you want to be able to just have that structure and those boundaries without completely just leaving it. Because in my opinion, I feel like you wouldn't address what needs to be addressed by just not thinking about it, because you would just come back almost doing the same thing, right? We're learning our mindsets, we're learning our habits, and it's really hard to just come back when you completely disconnect, right? When I fasted that week, I still checked with my customers who had outer ships. I had a customer who, for the second time, and actually she's thriving for free again this month, so I still sent her a message like, happy credits day. I still followed up with people. So it was actually so much awareness for me to know that even though I wasn't on social media, I still had a business to run. And that may sound a little crazy, because since we grow our business on social media, we think that that's everything, right? Creating that next video, creating that next content, and we overwhelm ourselves with so many new things. I've also gotten into reposting certain things. I've gotten into taking some of my live video, screen recording them, and posting it as a reel. Why not? There's so many things that you could say in a live video that you're like, oh man, that was good. Take a clip of it and post it as a reel, right? Like, you want to be able to get creative and really let people feel your heart. What do you have to offer? What do you want to be known for? Okay. So it's about how you're building. Okay. When you start feeling overwhelmed and you feel like you just want to step back, finding your own lane is realizing how you want to build. It's how you're doing that thing. Okay. It's are you trying to just keep up with someone else? We have to get away from that. And it's, to be honest, it's kind of normal when you first start to do that. Like I was trying to keep up with Amber so much when I first started. And then you start finding your own rhythm. You start finding what works for you. And you also start being okay with the 20, 30, 70, 100 days. But when we say, okay, I didn't get everything that I wanted to get done today, but I showed up, you have to be careful with feeling like it's okay to do that every day. You know what I mean? Like it's showing up every day. You have your plan and you want to have the mentality that you do want to execute, but you just want to show yourself grace when it all doesn't happen, right? Like we may have our plans, but God has his plans, right? And certain days, some shit just hits the fan, excuse my language. It just does some days. So you just have to be okay with that. But when we say pick it up the next day, it doesn't mean that you allow it to for you not to hit your goals, or you don't do your non-negotiables. And full transparent moment here, I've been having a hard time, like over 90 days doing my IPAs, like the hardest time. Like all I do, but see, I'm in my DMs though. I'm messaging people, but it comes to a point where you have to really still engage. And I've been really just engaging in my feed and engaging in stories. But I haven't been doing as much 3-2-1s as I should. This last Sunday, what I did was I cleaned up my following. And now I know a lot of like these gurus say don't delete your followers, even if they look like ghost followers. I'm like, okay, I'll leave whoever wants to follow me on there. But I went to like look at my least interacted with, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know who this person is. I haven't done a 3-2-1. She doesn't follow me back. Let me just unfollow her, right? Because I've noticed that for sure, when I unfollow people who are not following me back, that helps that helps my feed. So it's still finding what's working for me right now. Like I cannot, like I've had to really work even after I pick my kids up. And y'all know that is stressful because I have to have them in and out the car, or I have to like I'm stressing over having them with me while I'm doing this. There's certain orders I can't even take depending on where it's at because I have my kids with me, but I'm doing what I have to do and I'm working later to get myself out of this. And we go through those times. This is like my overtime, even though I work for myself and I deliver food, that's my overtime. I'm working from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. some days. And that's what I have to do. And I'm slowly coming out of it by God's grace. And I'm finally gonna be y'all. When I get off here, I'm about to pay my rent, y'all. I feel so good about that. I want to cry. September's gonna be on time, and it's just like it's that grit, y'all. Like no matter what's going on in your life, if you know what you're here for, even when you have to take those moments where you need to like retract and really like just refocus, it's okay. But remember why you're here so you don't walk away completely. Okay. You can slow down, step back a bit and regroup. I wrote on here. All right. But that can be done without completely dropping all your progress, because that's what you would do if you completely just ghost everything because you're so overwhelmed. You don't want to do that. First of all, your audience is going to be like, oh, where'd she go? Right. What if that person who was finally like, okay, like, what if I just left right now, right? And I keep saying how I've already been here almost 2 years, and someone's finally about to order from me after watching me over a year, and I'm gone for however long because I just can't do it no more. I don't want to have to start all over, right? That's an investment, your time, your money, right? Your brain that you've been growing as an entrepreneur. Like, why waste that? Do not drop all of your progress, right? And your consistency, your progress and your consistency, your progress and your confidence in yourself, to see how much you've grown, right? Seeing how far you come already. And this happened to me as well before. It's so easy to just think about where you're not, where you aren't, when you are, oh my gosh, words are hard right now. It's so easy to focus on how far you still have to go. Let me just change that up. Versus the progress that you've already had. And that's where that regrouping comes in, when you just start thinking. And y'all, gratitude has helped me so much. Just be thankful for every day. Thankful to be able to go to work. Thankful for my health. Thankful for my family, right? You have to stay in those gratitude moments. Thankful for y'all, for my team. yes, the journaling has helped, and I need to start doing it more. I do like every 2 weeks now, when I used to do it at least once or twice a week. But like I said, like we go through those changes, and when you're aware, you start realizing, well, what's missing? What was I doing when I was really on fire and I felt like everything was going right? It's those little things that sometimes just fall through the cracks, because we're it's life. Life happens. Okay, so when you get to this point, give yourself a self check, right? There's no better person. It all starts with you in every situation. There's no better person to give yourself a self check than you, right? Why do you feel this way? Did you take the time to really be real with yourself, right? So I'm gonna end it with this. Your lane is found when you do these 3 things. I don't know if you want to write it down, but think about, what's your passion? Have you found it? And if you have you gotten away from it? Number 2, what do you want to share and be known for? Stick to that. 2 or 3 things, right? It's almost like those 5. And maybe it has changed. And that's where that refocus comes in. And the third one is, what can you teach and bring a light to? Like maybe bring awareness to. What value can you bring? What's something that you're always talking about, that you have so much knowledge about? Put that out there. There's someone else who wants to know. It could be the simplest thing. It could be baking, whatever. Bring out that value. And remember that social media, we're there to be social, right? And even though we are growing a business, it's 80% you, 20% thrive. Okay? Aside from thrive, who are you and what do you have to offer and bring to the table to someone else? And I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer. I know she was driving home from her son's practice. I know she's ready.
I am ready. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm still in the car because I'm like, it's too much for me to have to go in the house, get ready, like find a perfect lighting. Like I can't. So let me let y'all know how my day has been before I get started. Y'all, I woke up this morning feeling, I felt like a little tickle in my throat. I'm like, whatever, mom life. I still got to go to work. I got to bring my kids to school. I start working and I just suddenly just felt horrible, y'all. I feel like I had the flu, COVID. I don't know what was going on. So I took the executive decision to go home and rest. Even though I know I have bills, I know that bills are coming up and I know that I need the money. I took the decision to come home, take some medicine, and go to sleep. And nothing is wrong with that. Sometimes we have to sit back and be like, we have to take care of us. But I still showed up. Even though I took like 9 hours out of my stories, like I didn't show up, I didn't do any IPAs. When I started feeling better, when I felt like I could do it, that's when I showed back up and I got in my stories and I told people how my day was and how I'm feeling. And that's the difference. And this morning, before all this took over, y'all, I still feel like crap. But at the end of the day, I know what I want. I know why I'm here. And how would I look? How would I look to other people if I just didn't show up because, oh, I don't feel good? Like sometimes we have to be tough on ourselves. Like nobody was nagging me like, Jennifer, you have a Zoom to get on. Like you said you were going to be here. It's me. I'm doing that to myself. And sometimes we need that, but sometimes other people might need a little push. But for me, it's really just me telling myself push, because I know my purpose. I know where I'm going. And I know that if I quit or I give up, what is that going to serve me? How is that going to serve me? Where am I going to go? I have no plan B. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we have to get to the point to where no matter what is going on in life, it's okay to take a break and step back, but don't forget why you're here. Don't forget why you hit the promoter button, you know? But at the end of the day, self-care is important. Like, yes, I feel like crap, but I'm feeling a lot better. And I could have easily said, I'm not going to show up. I want to go get back in my bed. Like, I'm not feeling it. But it's like some days, like this is what makes or breaks you, you know? Like if I didn't show up, for me personally, I would have felt bad. I would have felt guilty. And like I've always said, like stay close to the fire and you'll stay hot. If you start backing away from the fire, then you're eventually gonna be unlit. And it's hard to light yourself back up. It's hard to get back in that rhythm, that flow that you have yourself in. But at the end of the day, like I just want to remind y'all, I'm not gonna stay on here too long because I really do need to go back in the house and get back in my bed. But I still want to show up regardless. But y'all, I said in my stories this morning, and I don't know where it came from, but it was just so random. Like if you want something bad enough, you're going to get it. But there's a but. There is a but. It depends on what you're doing to get there. If you get to the point to where you're like, nothing is happening, I don't see anything, I haven't got a paycheck in weeks. Hi, hello. I mean, it is what it is. But what are you doing in that waiting season? Because at the end of the day, God is not going to bless you or give you anything that you are not prepared for. You know, like at the end of the day, he's not going to be like, oh, well, here you go, Jennifer, you can have, you know, all your bills paid with this business. I'm going to make sure you have all the customers and all the team members and whatever, if I'm not even prepared for that. So that's really what got me to the point to where I'm okay in the season I'm in because I'm not prepared for it. If it would all fall on my lap right now, I wouldn't know what to do with it. So it's in that waiting season, in that time where you feel like nothing is happening, what are you doing? You know, like Harriet says, sometimes we have to evaluate ourselves and be like, okay, well, what am I doing right now? You know, it's not my time. So what am I doing to prepare myself? You know, so I hope that encourage someone. I love y'all. I got to go. I love y'all so much.
That was awesome. Thank you, Jennifer.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was trying not to burn my egg white whites, y'all. That was so good. Like on two different levels in so many ways. That was so good. And I feel like that was like the message that we've all kind of been needing lately. And I want to just kind of leave you guys with this tonight that you know how we say like you're building the foundation of your business, like this is chapter one. Like chapter one's not sexy. Chapter one is not the chapter anybody wants to talk about, right? It's not the fun part. It's the really super awkward part where you're trying to figure it out, but you're also building your foundation as a leader. And I know we talk about that to the point where it probably flows in one ear and out the other so much, but you truly are building your foundation as a leader. You're building that consistency. You're building that muscle of, I'm going to show up for my team no matter what. I'm going to show up and I'm going to lead the way. I'm still going to talk about my products. I'm still going to show up in seasons where it's hard because you know, in the back of your mind, when you're able to turn this mindset on, when you're like, I know someone's going to need me to explain this one day. Someone's going to be in my inbox saying, how did you show up when shit hit the fan? How did you show up when it's not pretty? How did you show up when you didn't have a paycheck? How did you show up when rent is due or rent is late? And all these seasons, right? And that is what you're blessed with right now, even though it doesn't feel like a blessing, even though it feels like a curse and you feel like it's just not going your way. And you're just like, you're praying for all of the ways out. You are being blessed with the story to tell, to be able to help somebody else through that exact season too. And you will need it one day. And I don't think you understand, but like when someone literally comes in your inbox with anything that you've struggled with before, it feels really good as a leader to be like, you know what? You're not alone. Like I've been through that. Here's what I've learned. Here's some tools you can put in your tool belt to help you. And you will get through this, right? Versus just saying, oh, well, suck it up. Like it's fine. It's part of the process. This is chapter one, right? Like, no, like this is the story that you get to tell. Okay. So take that with you. Take it with you tonight. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Are you kidding? Like June and July, I had to put gas and groceries on credit, you guys. Like we have been in a financially hard season. There's a whole reason why I've taken that job, right? But I'm also like, I understand the lesson behind it, right? And I look at it like God put me backwards. Like he took me backwards. In 2021, I felt like abundant in finances. And then I got smacked in the face with medical bills and debt again and other things that I owe, right? But I also look back at that season of early 2022 where I wasn't stewarding what I was given, right? And I didn't pay attention to where my paychecks were going and I didn't pay attention to where my money was going. And so I look at it like, not that it's a curse that I went back in debt, not that it's a curse that, we had to open the credit card back up, but I look at it as, okay, what is the lesson here, right? How can I learn from this so that I can help somebody else when they get into this circumstance, when they start not appreciating their paychecks and their business and they start taking things for granted, right? So just know in any season that you're walking through it for a reason. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Jennifer, for leading tonight. Go get some rest. I hope you feel better. I love you all very, very much. Okay.